Right. Good morning. How is everyone doing this morning? Hopefully really well. And that you all are ready. Hi, good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you guys in IG. I will try my best to click on the buttons on all the different spaces and make sure that I'm answering the questions and getting the things going. So my name is Dr.Z Gross, licensed marriage and family therapist, owner of Greater Self LLC and Dr.Z Gross Family and Counseling Incorporated. This morning, you are tuning in to my Freedom Tea Talks with Dr. Z. We are hosting live. Oops, I always forget to hit the record button. Tuning in live. Good morning. To talk about this morning, being able to collaborate with other folks and what that can actually look like for, good morning, Amy, what that looks like personally, professionally, just overall in general in life, and how it can be supportive and helpful to you. So some folks that may be tuning in, you might actually be folks that I work with in different capacities as maybe therapy client, a coaching client, or your peers in the field, and or it could actually even be one of my mentors or coaches that could be chiming in. And what I wanted to explore was to give space today for, and I'm going to try and see if I can keep my chat up with my team in a different spot to make sure that I'm getting all the questions answered from the different platforms. 1 second. As well as looking over at my notes periodically to make sure that I am, again, keeping on track with what I want to share and making sure that you all get the best experience of what's going on. Hey, I see one of my G's on here on IG Live. It's really cool how so far this week, and I know I only do 2 Tea Talks in a week, but each one there has been someone that I have worked with, and they've been sharing some great stuff. So FYI, at some point in the very near future, I'm totally going to be looking at how I can go live on IG and all the other platforms, as well as bring on people, because we definitely did it with one of my peers that I collaborated with, and being able to do it on Zoom and Facebook and all those places. But for some reason, we weren't able to work out the logistics of being able to do it on the other on Instagram specifically. But with that being said, with my G showing up, and you guys are totally going to be seeing floods of their success stories. So if you're hearing this now and you've got some new updates and I don't already know about it, by all means, please let me know so that I can make sure to share it and share with the world, more than anything, pretty much how dope and how awesome you are. This morning, when I woke up, I was looking at this lovely gift that my accountant gave me that was, I think it says something about like stepping your cocky up or something like that, but pretty much owning your awesomeness, your dopeness, your greatness, and being able to show up in that form for other folks. I did share it on my Instagram page. Good morning. Thanks for joining in. And what it basically was saying is when you show up in your greatness, it allows other people the opportunity to do the same. So what does that look like if we're speaking about collaboration? Well, if I didn't show up, there would be, oh, happy Thursday, over there in Facebook land. If I didn't show up, how would I have the capacity to be able to work with someone else? How would I be able to, know that someone else actually could benefit from what I'm doing, and just the same that I can benefit from what they've got going on, and how we can collaborate together? So what that can look like is, for instance, you all may have seen last summer, I believe, my coach, one of my coaches, because I've worked with lots of different people as I continue to upgrade and do better in my businesses and how I provide services to different folks that I work with. I look for more people that have surpassed what I've accomplished, and or maybe are simultaneously headed in the same direction, that I can learn from those that have surpassed what I've accomplished, and those on the same direction. We can collaborate to work with each other to go faster. So there isn't a necessity to do it all on your own by yourself all the time. What that looked like is last summer, and FYI, it's definitely coming up again. I had the opportunity to work with my business coach specifically for a private practice. So what that collaboration looked like was I went through her coaching program, and I was able to go through her boot camp and like get to know her better, learn some more information, and see what it looked like to have a prosperous private practice. Because at the time when I first was introduced to her, what happened was I had a whole bunch of paperwork and stuff set up to be able to have a private practice, but wasn't in a position where confidence wise, I was ready to jump out there and do it. And the thing is, if she hadn't shown up in her full version of who she was, I would not have come across her profile and I would not have met her. And we wouldn't be sitting here talking about this topic today, realistically. But because she did, I followed along. I was like, let's see what this lady's talking about. And what happened was that for me, I was able to confirm all the things that I had already done well or right, and add those extra pieces of how to tie in all the documentation and paperwork that I was able to learn about for doing business, but make it specific to a private practice. In the midst of that, I also learned there were so many more opportunities and ways that I could serve just in my role as a therapist in my private practice, to the extent of being very intentional and specific about who I serve, so that I don't find myself having repeats of what internship looks like, or when you're getting your hours, where you typically just go work wherever someone says to, and you work with whoever shows up. The thing is, I have the capacity to work with whoever I want to in my business as I'm choosing to provide these services. And the beauty is that when I do that, it allows me to show up in a better version of myself. And the people that I get to work with that trust me to guide them on their therapeutic path, they have the opportunity to reach expectations and accomplish things that they would not have otherwise been able to do. So me collaborating with Dr. TK and going through her program first, and then actually being able to circle back and support other people having that same experience, especially if you want to grow a private practice for therapy specifically, just allowed me to really see what it looks like to have that continuity of there isn't competition when everybody stays in their lane and does what they do. Do I also work with therapists? Yes, but in a different capacity. I won't be the person that's setting up your business, because a coach I've already worked with already has that program and I have the opportunity to support it. So in that sense, it allows me to collaborate with someone else that I already know from personal experience will be able to help support in that specific capacity of growing a business for a therapist. Other forms of collaboration can be, and I know sometimes people get a little weary of what is it, like network marketing and like different companies like that. But what some of those do, and what they do really well, is they help build a community of people. And when you have a community of folks, it's a lot easier for each individual to figure out different ways to show up and how they can lean on the other folks that are already a part of their organization and have a similar background experience and have been indoctrinated with the same processes that when you say ... they know exactly what you're talking about, and it allows you to get right back on track with what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Looking at it from a personal standpoint, when you hear the things it takes a village to raise a child, this is one of the most, I would say, key ways that I'm aware of where you can definitely see the benefit and beauty of people working together when there's single parents, or maybe there's two family households, or there's just a plethora of extended family that are close by. When kids specifically have the opportunity to get support and different resources and aspects of how to do life from not just their parents or caregivers or guardians, but also people in the community, people that may be a part of their extended family. When everyone starts to work together and they do have that capacity, hey, good morning, have that capacity to be able to support each other. One parent or person or household may have something going on, and another one can more effortlessly support them in that process. When those things happen, the people that win most are the folks that we love the most, which is typically the children in those situations. They win because the adults that are in their lives were able to work together to ensure that everyone in their immediate community was able to be supported. Again, every city and every community may not look like that. Good morning. But when you have the capacity to work with folks in your own community for a common goal, it does allow everyone to succeed. It allows the burden or the weight of expectations to lift. It gives you an opportunity to truly start to move in your own purpose, in your own space. And the better each individual is able to do their thing, the better they can collaborate and support other people. So instead of being crabs in a barrel, pulling each other down, everybody's actually locking shoulders and connecting together and consistently supporting each other up because there is this alignment with each other to do so. I know I've just rambled on for just a little bit. I'm wondering, does anybody else in the audience have like any other ideals, questions, or thoughts or concerns about how collaboration can be helpful, or maybe even any fears of how it might not be, or when it isn't a good idea, or times where it went really well for them? While I'm kind of waiting for you guys, I'm definitely going to take a sip of my tea. Thank goodness it cooled down a little bit. I'm not over here burning the mess out of my out of my throat. Ooh, excuse me. And still trying to speak at the same time. So historically, folks may have thought that collaborating with someone that does the same thing as you would have taken away from what you do. I don't know if any of you all have ever had that idea or ever thought that. Unfortunately, I've only been able to experience the opposite of this ideal. And this is kind of what I was looking at. When you're in a space with folks that are genuinely actually in alignment and like-minded, you all collaborating together does work. When you find yourself in a space with folks that are very much so selfish, and not the selfish so they could become selfless, but legit 100% just hands down selfish. Those are the folks that when you find yourself trying to collaborate with them, while you may be open to sharing of resources, processes, techniques, ways that you do things that you've come across that are really cool and good, their desire to succeed at any cost typically will cost the relationship. They are usually comfortable with maybe burning bridges that didn't need to be burned because of the thought or ideal that if I don't get it, someone else will take it from me or get it, instead of seeing everything that is for each individual will absolutely show up and be available for each individual. I see another comment. Co-parenting should be a collaborative effort and not a competition. Ooh, that is definitely a good space. And I have another peer that at some point we'll be collaborating on some things too. His name is EJ, and you guys may or may not follow him on Instagram, Facebook, or any of the other spaces, but he is intentionally specializing in co-parenting as a African-American male therapist. One of those key points are his, but to circle it back around, whether you're working on a project specifically in a working environment, and you find that, and you don't have to do it a bunch of times, like people show you their true colors pretty quickly. So if you're in the work environment, you realize, okay, for me to do my job and do what I'm supposed to do, yes, I may need to work with this person, but the collaboration of coming up with great or new ideas, you might learn that some people aren't able to recognize that everybody can actually win, and there's enough food on the plate, on the table, money, resources that everybody can eat. And if you're not, it's probably because there's something better for you in a different space or location. And if you're spending your time getting stuck, looking at or worrying about how someone else took something from you and how you need to get it back, or you're missing opportunities. You're missing them left and right. And you're missing the lesson that came with that, which is do look at who you should be collaborating with and in what capacity. Everybody shouldn't get and give every single thing. Circling back around to one of the comments, co-parenting definitely should be a collaboration. And I think there's this ideal that co-parenting only happens when people are separated. Not accurate. If you are married, you are with your partner or spouse, or however you guys identify each other, if you two have children that you've decided to parent and take care of together, co-parenting is always happening regardless of you two's romantic relationship status. And there is a need and necessity for everyone to be on the same page. Hence, if you can help it, you shouldn't have kids with people that you guys didn't talk about how you want to raise your children and look at how were they raised, because how we were raised will come up until we intentionally do something different. And you could say, oh, I'm never going to be like that. And then you find yourself, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did the exact same thing I said I would never do. But to give a little more grace to that, once you do have a child with another person, it is both of your responsibilities to ensure that that child gets what they need, coming back to that village mentality, and you two are the key points of doing it. However, and good morning from YouTube over there, I see you. However, looking back at selfishly and just how people are raised and things that they think matter, such as if I don't win, then that means I'm losing. Like, this is not Talladega Nights. If you're not winning, you're losing. That's in real life, you can always be winning, even from a perceived loss, if you choose to look at it in that capacity. Hence, if you are parenting with someone else, there's no way that either one of you loses if you're both pouring in everything that you have to ensure that your children are getting what they need, not what will cause pain to another person. You all's relationship stuff, unfortunately, y'all need to handle that somewhere else, because that's not something that still needs to be collaborated on if you aren't together. But the relationship that allows you to parent simultaneously and be in agreement and actually support each other, again, with the common focus and goal of how do you support your children? How do you ensure that the goal of raising healthy adults that are able to contribute in the world and just be all around the most awesome version of themselves starts with you all choosing to be the most awesome version of yourselves. The more awesome you are, the easier it is to notice opportunities to bend when necessary and when there is a fight that's worth having, because the impact could be detrimental. And I know this wasn't necessarily going to that level of personal in regards to collaboration today, but I guess somewhere somebody needed to hear it, so we're sharing it. Any other questions, thoughts, or observations in regards to collaboration? Good morning. See more folks jumping in, because I said there was a conference I attended clearly well before the pandemic for a I think it was I can't remember in its entirety, but there was a term that was brought up that made so much sense, especially professionally, and how it can relate personally. And it was collaboration or something like that, but it was the combining of competition and collaborating, in that if you're working with people, especially folks in the same field or with the same goal or purpose, and you all are competing, my personal interpretation, you're competing to be a better version of yourself, then by default, you collaborating with this other person and leveling up together will continue to support both of you. But if there's just competition to just be better than someone else instead of yourself, doesn't quite kick in and do the same thing. People may have some very, very different experiences when that's the way that it's happening. I know sometimes there's a mini bit of lag that can go on here and there. Just wondering, are there any other situations, thoughts, experiences of great collaboration, and or ones that, you know, they were different? It was real different, and you learned something from it that will allow you to be more effective moving forward. Anyone or anything at all? Like I said, thank goodness I let this tea cool down a little bit, so I'm not out here sculpting my poor mouth, but I'll wait. Like, well, as usual, if there aren't any questions, thoughts, or concerns, or collaborations you all would like to add to this, I can definitely let you know what's going on in the world these days, which is, if you haven't seen on any of the links, I am definitely opening up the wait list for the next Greater Therapist Vibes GTV so that I can bring on the next round and version of my G's. As you all have seen, my alumni are like coming through and they're showing up on the lives. They're showing up on YouTube. They're showing up on IG. They're showing up in Facebook. They're all around and they're doing really awesome things. So I can't wait to start bringing them on over these next couple of weeks and months just to catch up, see where they're at. GTV is ultimately my coaching program that I offer and provide people the opportunity to find alignment with their what they most care about and how they do that with their two precious commodities, their time and their money. And they make it make sense so they can integrate a lifestyle that's supportive to what they like to accomplish, doing the things they want to do in the way, version, and style that actually supports their livelihood. It's kind of like a collaboration of how you do your life and having someone else be willing to offer their full experiences. You can ask me anything when you have access to me in the G's, when we are in our coaching groups, about how to navigate different things. And that can be starting a business, it can be dropping a business, it can be getting a raise, getting a higher position, whatever the things are that you're looking at. When you're able to do that from a space of your mind, body, and self and have it make sense, it's amazing what you can accomplish. Also, to add, one of my business coaches, Dr. TK, will be having a boot camp coming up towards the end of this, well, I think within the next week or two, that I'll definitely make sure to share a link there about that, where she will be helping assess the status of your business if you are in private practice. If you're a therapist and you're in private practice, you may or may not even be licensed yet. You may be just on the verge of becoming licensed and just considering it. Would definitely be a good idea to check out this boot camp. And I will totally post a link that you can sign up for it, because there's more info and insight that gets offered when you do sign up and get into her Facebook group, as well as being able to go live and see those live trainings with her. And I, like I said, I'm all in support because it helped me. So why would I want to share it with other people? Who's going to be selfish and keep it all to themselves when we're talking about collaboration? So be on the lookout for GTV's waitlist, as well as the Prosperous Private Practice Bootcamp, or the Abundant Bootcamp from Dr. TK. And like I said, I will make sure those links are available, that you can totally sign up and check it out, get the free info and insight. And by all means, drop me a DM, ask me questions. I'm here. The day's going pretty smooth, and I look forward to seeing you all next Tuesday and bringing up some more topics that are just going to help kind of keep us moving in that direction of how to restructure 2023 in a way that really is supportive to us, so we can all start showing up as the greatest versions of ourselves. And who knows, maybe you guys will build your network and community and become one of the G's from Greater Self. So I hope you all have an amazing day. I look forward to seeing you all on Tuesday. If not before then, because who knows, something might come over me. Oh yeah, this Saturday at the Fit Expo, Saturday morning, 10 a.m., one of my G's will actually be fighting in the events there. So just putting it out there in case you guys want to show up, check it out if you're in the LA area. Have a great day, y'all. See you later.